You don't know what happens when the lights go down. You see the spectacle, the costumes, the vocals, the artistry. But I saw what happened in the shadows. My name is Leo Matheson, and I was the lead sound engineer for Lady Gaga's Mayhem ball tour. I was there when the screaming wasn't part of the show. I was there when the microphones picked up things no one was meant to hear. And I was there when she broke down in a way that still haunts me every time I hear her voice on the radio. This isn't a conspiracy theory. This is what I witnessed. And if you've ever wondered about the real price of fame, listen closely. Because what happened to her could happen to any of them. Maybe even all of them. I'd been in the music industry for 15 years when I got the call. Live Nation was assembling the crew for Gaga's biggest tour yet, the Mayhem Ball. It was a career-defining gig. 7 months of arena shows across North America and Europe. I'd worked with big names before, Beyoncé, The Weeknd, Bruno Mars, but Gaga was different. Her team was known for perfectionism, and her shows were more like theatrical productions than concerts. I was thrilled and nervous. The first week of rehearsals was at a massive soundstage in Burbank, California. That's where I met her. Stefani Germanotta, Lady Gaga, was smaller in person than I expected, but her presence filled the room. She shook my hand, looked me dead in the eye, and said, "The audio is everything. Make them feel like they're inside my head." I laughed, thinking it was a joke. It wasn't. Those early days were professional, even magical. Gaga was a workhorse. She'd rehearse for 8 hours straight, then review footage for another 2. Her voice was incredible, effortlessly shifting from opera to pop to gritty rock. She knew every mic, every speaker, every piece of gear on that stage. She'd sometimes sit with me at the soundboard, tweaking levels herself. "I want the audience to hear every breath," she told me once. "Every crack in my voice. The humanity." But there were cracks, all right. Just not the kind she meant. The first weird thing happened during a rehearsal of Perfect Celebrity. I was running vocal checks. Gaga was on stage, bathed in a single spotlight. She sang the line, "I'm made of plastic like a human doll. You push and pull me, I don't hurt at all." Suddenly, the mic feed cut for a split second. When it came back, her voice sounded different, distorted like 2 people singing at once. The second voice was raspier, angrier. I thought it was a glitch. I yelled, "Stop! Audio issue." Gaga froze. "What did you hear?" Just a double feed, sounded like an echo. She walked slowly to the soundboard, her face was pale. "There's no echo, play it back." I pulled up the recording. The distortion was gone. It was clean, perfect. She stared at me, her eyes searching mine. "Don't invent ghosts, Leo. The only demons here are the ones we invite." She walked away, leaving me unsettled. A week later, we were in Vegas for the tour's opening at T-Mobile Arena. The show was a triumph. The critics raved. But backstage, things were getting strange. Gaga had 2 dressing rooms. One was her public room, filled with flowers and well-wishers. The other was a private soundproofed room at the end of a long corridor. Only a few were allowed in. I had to deliver a special earpiece to her one night. The door was ajar. I knocked. No answer. I peeked in. The room was dark except for a single vanity mirror surrounded by bulbs. Gaga was sitting there, staring at her reflection, but she wasn't alone. A woman who looked exactly like her. Same blonde hair, same features, was standing behind her, hands on her shoulders. They were whispering to each other. I froze. The double noticed me first. Her eyes locked on mine. They weren't human. They were black, like a shark's. I stumbled back, dropping the earpiece. Gaga's head snapped toward me. "Get out!" she screamed. Not angry, terrified. fled. An hour later, she found me at the soundboard. She looked normal again. She apologized, saying she'd been doing a meditation exercise with a mirror and her acting coach. "The light plays tricks," she said. But I knew what I saw. The incidents multiplied. During a show in Chicago, her in-ear monitor feed picked up another voice, a man's voice whispering in what sounded like Latin. I was the only one who heard it. She was on stage singing Bloody Mary, but the whisper was clear. Sanguis et animam. Blood and soul, I told the tour manager. He laughed. "It's a haunted old arena, Leo, probably a radio bleed." Then came the nightmares. I started dreaming of that double. The thing with black eyes. It would stand in the corner of my hotel room whispering Gaga's lyrics back to me. "Find my clone, she's asleep on the ceiling." I'd wake up gasping. I wasn't sleeping. The breaking point was in New York at Madison Square Garden. It was the third night. The show was being recorded for HBO. Pressure was high. During Abracadabra, Gaga's mic started picking up heavy breathing. It wasn't hers. It was guttural, wet. I tried to cut the feed, but the board was locked up. The sound blasted through the arena. The crowd went silent. Gaga stopped singing. She stood frozen in the center of the stage, her eyes wide with panic. She started whispering into the mic. "Not now, not here, please not here." Then she changed. Her posture straightened. Her face went slack. And she sang the rest of the song in that other voice, the raspy, distorted one. The audience loved it. They thought it was part of the act. But I saw her eyes. They were vacant. Dead. After the show, I was called to her private room. She was sitting alone, no double in sight. She looked exhausted. "You've heard things," she said. It wasn't a question. "You've seen things." I nodded. She told me about her PTSD, the rape she suffered at 19, the years of trauma. "I created her to protect myself," she whispered. "The clone, the celebrity. She takes the pain, but she's getting stronger, and she doesn't want to go back in the box." I finally understood. The clone wasn't a metaphor. It was a dissociative identity, a trauma-induced fracture. But it felt like more. It felt supernatural. The climax came in Miami. The heat was oppressive. We were at the Kaseya Center for 3 nights. Before the second show, a massive thunderstorm rolled in. The power flickered during sound check. Gaga was on edge. She kept staring at her reflection in the monitor screens. That night, during Perfect Celebrity, it happened. The lights died. The entire arena went black. Emergency generators kicked in, casting the stage in eerie red light. Gaga was alone in the spotlight. She froze mid-lyric. "You say I love you, I disintegrate." And then she did. She collapsed, to her knees, clutching her head. "Get out of me," she screamed. Her voice echoed through the silent arena. Then another voice answered, deep and raspy, coming from her mouth. "I am you." The crew was stunned. The audience thought it was part of the show. I ran toward the stage. Gaga's body convulsed. She looked up at me, her eyes pleading. "Leo, help me." Then her face changed. Her expression hardened. Her eyes seemed to darken. She stood up, moving with unnatural grace. She grabbed the mic. "You want a show?" she said, the new voice dripping with contempt. "I'll give you a show." She launched into a distorted industrial version of Swine, a song she'd said was about her rape. The lyrics were savage. The performance was violent. She tore at her clothes, scratched her arms, screamed until her voice rawed. The audience was horrified but mesmerized. I looked at the tour manager. "Cut the power now." "We can't. It's live." I ran to the soundboard. I had to stop this. As I fiddled with the controls, the private feed from her dressing room, camera flashed on my screen. I don't know how it switched on. The room was empty, except for the mirror. And in the mirror I saw them, two figures, Gaga on her knees, sobbing, and the double, standing behind her, hands on her shoulders, staring into the mirror, smiling. The double's eyes were black, and it was mouthing the words to the song. On stage, Gaga was singing, "You're just a pig inside a human body." She pointed at the audience. "All of you, pigs." I finally killed the audio. The arena went silent. Gaga stood panting on stage. She looked confused, then horrified. She fled into the wings. I found her backstage curled into a ball in the corner. She was sobbing. "She's out. She won't go back." She grabbed my arm. "You have to run. She doesn't like witnesses." I quit the tour the next day. I told them it was stress. They paid me off with an NDA. I signed it. I wanted to forget, but I can't. I still have the nightmares. I still see that double with the black eyes. I hear her voice in static on the radio. I can't listen to Gaga's music anymore, especially not the new album, Mayhem. It sounds too much like that other voice. I've done research. I'm not the only one who's seen things. There are stories, rumors of Illuminati rituals, satanic panic, and that bloody bathtub in a hotel room. They're all nonsense. The truth is worse. It's not a conspiracy, it's trauma. It's the horror of fame so intense it fractures a soul. And the industry doesn't care. They just want the show to go on. Gaga is still out there. She's performing right now. But I don't know who or what is on that stage. Listen to the lyrics of Perfect Celebrity. Listen to the live performances from the Mayhem Ball. Sometimes the voice changes. Sometimes it's not her. If you're going to her concert, be careful. Don't stay after the lights go down. Don't look too closely at the reflections in the mirror. And if you hear a second voice, run. Because sometimes the monsters are real. And they're not under the bed. They're on the stage wearing our idols' faces, singing our favorite songs, and they're hungry for an encore. I still have the audio files from that night in Miami, the ones I saved before I left. I listen to them sometimes. The whisper in Latin, the distorted vocals, the sound of her breaking down. And sometimes, at the very end of the recording, you can hear something else, something that wasn't there before. A faint, raspy voice that whispers directly into the mic. "Leo, I see you. She's right. I can't hide. And neither can you." If you or someone you know has experienced sexual violence, contact the RAIN National Sexual Assault Hotline for confidential support. This story integrates real elements from Lady Gaga's life, her PTSD, the rape she suffered at 19, her discussions of having a clone or public persona, and connects them to the psychological horror of dissociative identity disorder exacerbated by the pressures of fame. The story uses authentic locations, Kaseya Center, Madison Square Garden, companies, Live Nation, and industry terminology to enhance believability. 610. The core horror element is the gradual realization that Gaga's clone is more than just a metaphor. It's a manifestation of trauma that becomes autonomous and threatening. The resolution ties back to real-world issues faced by celebrities and the music industry's exploitation of mental health.